Have you ever wondered if it's possible for you to get a grant when working with assisted living? I have actually received two different grants and wanted to share the process that I've gone through to get those grants in place and share with you that it is possible to get a grant. If you're interested, make sure you stick around. We'll get into that. Hey everybody, it's Brandon Gustafson. Welcome back to Assisted Living Investing. Happy to have you with me here today. Today I'm going to get into a topic that I see quite frequently in different forums and things like that. It is around getting grants to start a facility. Now, getting a grant to start a facility it can be difficult. I think there are opportunities out there, but I've worked in the nonprofit world for a little over 10 years now and have a pretty good understanding of what that looks like and how grants work. And so getting a grant to start your facility is going to be a little bit difficult. If you're a nonprofit, you're going to have a little bit better chance. But there's just so many different hoops that you have to jump through as you go through that process to get a grant to start a facility. It's not that it's impossible. You just have to find the right place to go to get it. If you're interested in learning more about it, make sure you comment down below. I have done some grant consulting with people in the past and have a few resources that I could give you to help you kind of get down the path for where you could go and find grants that might help for starting a facility. But just know going into it, it's not an easy process, and you're going to have a much better chance if you're already a nonprofit. So that's something to keep in mind. With all that said, it is still possible to get grants even if you are not a nonprofit entity. So in our Colorado facility, through ARPA, which is a program that came up through the COVID era of grants and things at a federal level, the state of Colorado decided that they wanted to put grants out there for facilities to use the money how they saw fit. Now, there were a few different parameters that they had that were buckets given to them by the federal government. A lot of the states had these types of opportunities. And so one of them could be improving the facilities, one could be technology, one could be power backup, just a bunch of different things that are more specific to facilities that are going to help them get to the point that they're helping them. A lot of states have used ARPA to beef up their Medicaid numbers and things like that. So look at your state. There's a lot of different things out there from ARPA that could be a benefit to you in getting your facility up and running and maybe give you a little bit of extra money. The money is probably going to dry up here by 2025, I would say. So I would definitely have those conversations early, and if you're already operating an existing facility, jump on it because it's a great opportunity. For us in Colorado, we were able to obtain two grants and working on a third one, which is exciting. So the first one that we received is around technology. It is around kind of shift is called Dollars to Digitize, and what we're tasked with doing in this grant is working through and making sure everything that we had on paper in the past or was maybe a little disorganized in a Google Drive folder or something like that we're shifting it over to a specific system, an EHR, electronic healthcare record, that's going to allow us to put that information in. And that could be resident information, med management, could be staffing updates and HR type of files and things like that you need when you're working with staff, policies and procedures, even billing. Some of these softwares will do billing with them. And so we're working with a vendor as we go through this process, and we're paying them through the grant funds, and they are working directly with us to implement a system that is personal for us. It's very individualized for our assisted living facility. What they really liked actually about us is that we operate in different states, and they would love to get into Idaho and potentially Utah because they're right now only in Colorado. So they'd like to learn a little bit from us. So they're willing to give us a little bit of a deal and a kickback. Right now we're very focused on getting the Colorado stuff up and running, but we're going to shift over and start having conversations about Idaho and how they could help us out there as well, which is really fun and exciting. In addition to that, we were able to get grant funds that will allow us to purchase new equipment for the facility. So iPads and Chromebooks and laptops and printers and fax machines and routers to help out with our internet and things like that. Just a bunch of money that is dedicated to that, which really helps us out. We've been wanting to get those types of that type of equipment and get it to our residents to help them out, but it's just not feasible for us to do it. But with the funding of this grant, we're able to now do that, get our administrator a new laptop. We'll have a staff laptop for all the staff that they need something, they can go to it. And then we'll have laptops and iPads that residents can check out if they want to do an online course through like Udemy or Coursera or the local community college even. They'll be able to do those things. Or if they just wanted to watch a video on an iPad in their room by themselves, they could check it out for that reason. We'll have policies and procedures written around how long a person can have one, how that works, what happens if they break it, those types of things. And we'll develop a process for checking those out and a log for it. So there's going to be a process there that we'll need to implement. But having the technology and being able to share that with our residents is really fun and exciting. So we're excited to be able to do that. Our second grant that we've been able to obtain is a grant that is called single occupancy, which for us, frankly, is kind of scary. It is moving things from a dual occupancy house over to single occupancy. With the intent of creating a better atmosphere for our residents. And the reason that's scary for us is it's going to turn our census from 16 beds down to something that's more like 12 beds. But in the process of doing that, it is a large renovation on the house, which is fun and also scary and exciting. But we're going to use those funds and upgrade things. I think I've mentioned this before about our Colorado facility. It's old. It was built in the 1890s. It's an old, really cool house. Has a really cool story with it. It used to be in downtown Colorado Springs, and they moved it in the 1950s, I think, over to Old Colorado City. So we have pictures of it on a truck, which is really kind of cool. It's exciting. So we were able to obtain this grant, and what we're going to be able to do with it is upgrade things like the electrical and the plumbing. And I'm meeting with an architect firm tomorrow, actually, to go over and see some of the things that we could do at the facility. Now, can we add rooms here structurally? And we're going to have an engineer there as well. Structurally, can we add some things like rooms, or could we shift some bathrooms around? What can we do at the house? It's old. We need to maintain the integrity of the house, but we also want to make this a really fun and cool, exciting place for our residents to live. We're hoping we can do something in the kitchen, because right now our kitchen's really tiny, as you can imagine, with a house that was built in the 1890s. It's a very tiny space. Building a good med room that has like glass walls on it for our staff to be in there and feel safe and secure, while also being able to see the rest of the house and see what's going on and be able to interact with the rest of the residents. When we're doing that, something that I found out through this process is, and this is not a surprise, government departments and agencies don't talk to each other. So we are getting the funding, the ARPA funding, from a group called HICPUF, and then our license is through CDPHE. And they don't talk to each other. They're just kind of off in their own silos. And so we're going to get the money here, but as we go through the process to do all the things and the changes to the house, we need to involve CDPHE and make sure that they are understanding the changes that we're making to the house and how that might impact our ability to maintain our license. We want to keep our license at 16 beds. We want to keep our classification as an alternative care facility. Keep our Medicaid waivers in place that we have to serve the residents that we serve. So we don't want to mess anything up, but we do want to start shifting things over. And the way that grants work, the way that you want to write your grants, is still give yourself a little bit of flexibility in how you are administering those grants. So specifically for us in this situation, what I decided to do is put a little stipulation in there that is, we are full on intending to move forward with changing this to a single occupancy house. That's what we want to do. But if we can't do that and remain a viable business, we will look at potentially changing the classification of the house and becoming something that's maybe a little more independent living or transitional housing or something like that, but still falls underneath the umbrella of the health department. And if that doesn't work, then we will slowly start going back up to dual occupancy rooms. Because as much as we would love to create this atmosphere where everybody has their own room and everybody has the autonomy to do what they would like to do, if we can't run the business, then there's no value in that. And so that's something that we wanted to make sure that we put in there, and it was accepted. So I'm working right now on getting the funding for that. If you're interested in learning more about grants and kind of the process that I'm going through as I go through that, make sure you comment down below, and I will kind of create a series of videos that gives updates on how we're doing with the grant, the administration of the grant, and how it's going as we kind of get things in place there. So if you're interested in that, make sure you comment down below and let me know. The third one that we're actually looking for is quite a bit different. It is around power. So like if the power goes out, can we get like generators? And so ARPA in Colorado has put this out, and I think we'll be able to do this. I'm going to work on applications for it here in the next week or two, with the hope of being able to get a few generators to help out with our, we have like a little refrigerator for our meds that need to be refrigerated, and I think we have a few different pieces of equipment at the house, life-saving equipment that needs to have backup power in the event that power goes out, and we need to have access to that. So a slightly different piece of a grant. That one is very specific to, you buy this thing, you don't really do a plan. But if we're able to get a few of those generators, it's going to be a really good benefit to our facility, which is really exciting. So those are some of the opportunities that I've been able to come across. Your state probably has some. There might be federal grants out there. You just kind of need to get out there and look for them. If you're interested in learning more about it, make sure you comment down below. I want to make sure that I'm giving you useful information rather than just throwing stuff out there that I think is interesting. So if you find it interesting and useful, make sure you comment down below. Let me know. I'd love to also see you over at assistedlivinginvesting.net. You can sign up. I have a free underwriting calculator over on the website, so you can get that. As you're going through the process to start your facility, you're going to want to know how much things cost and what your expenses are. And the underwriting calculator has a really good overview of that. I've compiled a few different deals from things that I've seen from the facilities I purchased and other ones that I've looked at purchasing, and I've kind of created a good baseline of what expenses might look like for you. So if you're interested in that, make sure you head over to assistedlivinginvesting.net and download that calculator. You'll get on an email list, and I will be sending out a newsletter, and I have a 12-week process that gives you quick tips and tricks for you to also just kind of learn how to get into a facility. So make sure you're doing that. And I'm also working on my course that we'll have out there. So if you get on that email list, you'll be on a waiting list for when that course launches, and excited to kind of mentor you through the process of doing this. I'm going to put it at a very affordable price so that you can get in there and actually work through that. Does residential assisted living sound interesting to you, but you don't know how to get started? At Assisted Living Investing, we're here to help you through the process every step of the way, start to finish. I'm excited to work with you, and hope this information is helpful and useful to you. And thanks for watching, and have a great day.